Oregon State is amidst an improbable run, winning 5 straight winner-go-home games after a 500 conference season to send themselves to the Sweet 16 in the NCAA tournament and keep their chances at a national title alive. OSU is the textbook Bid Bandit and have flaunted their underdog status every step of the way. In this video, I will dive into the history of the Bid Bandit and highlight some of the most improbable runs in college basketball tournament history. There are 2 prerequisites that must be met for a team to be considered a bid bandit or thief, as some refer to them. Number 1, they must be from a conference that has at least one at-large team. And number 2, the team must have not been considered for an at-large spot in the NCAA tournament had they lost their conference tournament. This takes one at-large spot away from the field as the expected champion. That at-large team, or several in the case of the Power 6 and other conferences, failed to win their conference tournament. A simple example from 2013, Western Kentucky was awarded a 16 seed after winning their conference tournament, while Middle Tennessee State was awarded an 11 seed at-large bid after losing in the conference tournament. This took a bid away from the NIT number 1 overall seed, Kentucky. With a significant minority of bid thief cases, I peg it about 3 in 29 in the last 15 tournaments, we actually don't and cannot know whether they were really bid thieves. For example, the 2017 URI team may have earned an at-large if they lost in the A10 tournament title game, as they were ranked number 44 by the committee overall, while the worst at-large team, USC, was ranked number 45. Had URI lost in the title game to number 40 overall team, VCU, there's no telling whether they would have gotten that number 45 spot or whether it would have been awarded to Syracuse, the NIT number 1 overall seed. I call these 50-50 cases, and to my eye, we have seen 3 in the past 15 years. Once these teams have all reached their conference tournament title games, we don't really know what would have happened if any or all of them missed out on an auto bid. The safe assumption is that there's no way all 3 of them would have earned at-large bids, but similarly, it's unlikely that none of them would have done so. The others include 2010 SDSU and 2014 Providence. Bid bandits can be anywhere from the 11 to 16 seed lines, but the vast majority are in the 11 to 12 lines, and thus make up these gray area cases. In the past 15 tournaments, there have been 26 surefire cases of banditry, with 8 alone coming from the Atlantic 10. The A10, a misnomer for a conference that has 14 members and formerly had 16 at its peak in 2014, has been a breeding ground for bid bandits since its inception, and there are a few reasons that this is the case. To start, the conference almost always has a few teams with at-large bids go to the big dance, checking box 1. The other thing fueling the chaos in this conference is the fact that there is almost never a dominant team like Gonzaga in the WCC that would always snag the auto bid as an at-large team. This leaves the path open for bid bandits that get hot at the right time. Of the 8 cases of banditry within the conference in the past 15 tournaments, by far the most intriguing is 2011 Richmond, which accounts for 2/3 of the NCAA tournament wins of all 8 of these cases. Despite having a 24-7 record, Richmond entered the A10 tournament needing to prove themselves after having only 1 win over an NCAA tournament team, number 3 seed Purdue, and a handful of quad 3 and 4 losses. As a 3 seed in the A10 tournament after a 13-3 conference slate, Richmond ran through number 6 URI in the quarterfinal game. In the semifinal, Richmond faced AP number 24 Temple in the number 2 versus 3 matchup. Guard Kevin Anderson went off scoring 22 in a 4-point win. Still unsure of their bubble position, the Spiders needed a win against number 9 Dayton in the tournament final to send themselves to the big dance. We can only assume that either winner would have been a bid bandit. Anderson scored 23 in a 13-point Spiders win to book the team a date with Vanderbilt in the 5-12 matchup in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Anderson dropped 25 as the team pulled out the upset 69-66. In the second round, Richmond was fortunate to play number 13 seed Morehead State, who upset Louisville in their first round game. Richmond cruised to a 65-48 victory, but their Cinderella run ultimately ended at the hands of number 1 Kansas in the following round. In the Power 6 conferences, a conference tournament title run is improbable due to the many top-tier teams a non-at-large will face during their run to the tournament title. Due to this, there are only a few cases of the Power 6 bid bandit in the past 15 years. In the 2007-8 season, the Georgia men's basketball team came into the 2008 SEC men's basketball tournament with a dismal 13-16 overall record and a 4-12 conference mark. At one point, the team sustained 2 5-game losing streaks during a 2-12 stretch in conference play. As you can see, sub-500 record conference tournament winners are few, with none worse than UGA's dismal conference slate. In the first round of the tournament, Georgia played Ole Miss. The game went into overtime after Rebel David Huertas hit all 3 free throws after a 3-point shooting foul, and looked to go into a second overtime period after Chris Warren did the same. However, with 0.4 seconds left in overtime, Georgia senior David Bliss banked in the game winner to shock the Rebels and send Georgia into a second-round date with Kentucky. On the night of March 14, 2008, tornadoes hit Atlanta, whose Georgia dome the SEC tournament was housed, which probably deserves a video of its own.
Standards may have something to do with weather. Conditions still exist in downtown Atlanta.
The Georgia-Kentucky matchup was rescheduled for the early afternoon of March 15th, with the winner advancing to play number 2 seed Mississippi State later that evening. The remaining games of the tournament would be played at Alexander Memorial Coliseum, again playing an overtime game in which Georgia star Sundiata Gaines fouled out. Georgia freshman Zach Swansea hit a turnaround 3-point jumper with 1.4 seconds left to give the Bulldogs the team's first ever win over Kentucky in the SEC tournament. That night, Georgia defeated Mississippi State to become the first team since Kentucky in 1952 to win 2 tournament games in one day, and the first ever number 13 overall seed to advance to the SEC tournament finals. In the finals, Georgia played Arkansas, who had lost to Georgia 82-69 in the regular season. Georgia prevailed again, at one point leading the Razorbacks by 19 points en route to winning its first tournament championship in 25 years. Sundiata Gaines and Terrence Woodbury were both named the all-tournament team, with Gaines winning the tournament's MVP. The improbable list of achievements: winning a tournament as a 13 seed, playing 2 games in one day to reach the finals, playing 2 games against Kentucky and Mississippi State, in which Gaines fouled out with a substantial amount of time to play, doing it on a rival team's home court, Georgia Tech, and winning 4 consecutive elimination games following a season in which their longest winning streak stood at 3, earned the 2007-8 team the nickname of the Georgia Dream Dogs. With the victory, Georgia secured itself an automatic bid in the 2008 NCAA tournament. After the SEC championship run, the Bulldogs were seeded 14th in the NCAA tournament and played number 3 seed Xavier Musketeers. This is the worst ever seed by a Power 6 team, and after developing an early lead in the second half, the Bulldogs could not hold on, and Xavier ended their run with a win by a score of 73-61. In the past 15 years, bid bandits and 50-50 cases are 12-28 in the tournament, with some of the most notable tournament stories and plays, including USD's 2008 buzzer-beater overtime win over UConn and UNI's famous half-court buzzer-beater over Texas, and subsequent choke against Texas A&M, in which they blew a 10-point lead in 26 seconds, which ended in a 2 overtime thriller. No bid bandit has ever made it past the Sweet 16 round. Oregon State has a great chance to be the first bid bandit Elite 8 team as they play number 8 seed Loyola Chicago in the third round of the 2021 tournament. None of these memorable events would have been possible without the concept of the auto bid, which gives every Division I team hope of a March miracle of their own, and for a lucky few, the chance to become bandits. Thanks for watching.